Tonight, our very first delegation is James Gordon on behalf of the Guelph Civic League with respect to the Guelph Museum Board's letter relating to the Loretto Convent, which is on your consent agenda item C2. Mr. Gordon, welcome.
Thank you. Is it okay if I hand out a handout?
Yes, by all means, sir.
Mayor Corey and councillors, thank you. I'm here to support the museum's request to reopen discussions about alternative uses for the Loretto Convent. I'm representing the Guelph Civic League, as you mentioned, a new organization with a mandate to ensure that the voices of citizens and neighborhood groups are heard in important matters such as this. And the little history lesson I passed around is just but an example of how important we feel this site is. I'll quote briefly from it. It's from 1856, so this has been a nationally important site for more than 150 years, where a visitor says, "I must say that I have seen no part of your flourishing province so favorably located as a seat of learning, piety, and health as the Loretto Convent in Guelph. In a word, in all Canada, there is not an educational establishment so select." In response to a letter that I sent to the councillors last week about this matter, I got a reply which said, "I think that the leadership on this issue has to come from the community." Well, we in the community somehow got the idea that we elect a council to provide leadership for us. We would like to think that you are a part of our community. The Civic League, for one, will do everything it can to save this important site, but we need the cooperation and participation of the council. During the 60s and 70s, much of our downtown was devastated by the irreplaceable loss of buildings that were vital to the character of our city. We realized too late how important our heritage was to the welfare of our citizenry. We thought we had learned that lesson more than 20 years ago. Let's not make that same mistake again. Mayor Quarry, when discussing the preservation of the historic Memorial Gardens wall, showed commendable support for protecting our downtown heritage. The convent issue would be a perfect opportunity to demonstrate that support. The convent will be gone forever unless we act decisively now. If council can consider spending $95,000 to investigate changing a governance system that isn't broken, it can invest a little now in our future and acknowledge our past at the same time. We have a choice to make now. Tearing down the convent will leave a parking lot as the legacy of this council, a lasting monument to a failure of leadership on this issue. I prefer to think that we could work together now to stave off destruction of a beautiful, structurally sound pre-Confederation building. By investigating all options, we could find a way to let the convent stand as a monument to our rich heritage. Catholic Hill, as it is known, was given as a gift to the church by our founder, John Galt, because he had a vision. The fact that this gift has left the convent in private hands does not absolve us of the responsibility to honor that vision. Rehabilitating the convent may be more economically viable than starting from scratch with buildings that will soon be needed as some of our public structures outgrow their existing space. Perhaps one day it could house our museum, galleries, studios, or a city information center. Funding for restoration may be available from sources other than our city's stretched coffers. We won't know if we don't give ourselves the chance to find out. The diocese is willing to explore creative, alternative uses of the site. Let's take advantage of that willingness as a chance for us to enhance our urban landscape, not destroy it. As much as we'd like to see the convent building restored soon, we do know that funds for this would be hard to come by. We respect the council's efforts to demonstrate fiscal responsibility, but this development doesn't have to happen now. We just need to prevent demolition now. We'll hear the argument, I expect, tonight that we can't afford to get involved in the convent site, but I maintain that we can't afford not to. Some councillors have mentioned figures as high as $5 million to fix the convent building. These numbers actually are based on estimates by the diocese for renovating the Church of Our Lady, not the convent. There are no current estimates on restoring that building. We haven't been allowed to get that far yet. Architects touring the building on behalf of Heritage Guelph gave a positive report as to the condition of the site. It's moldy and neglected, just like my house, which I'm not thinking of tearing down. A feasibility study might determine that the site could be used for valuable storage space with very minimal investment. This would be a constructive use of the site until we do have the money to make it suitable for more exciting purposes. Who knows, maybe we could save money and save a convent at the same time. We must ensure that the wrecking ball doesn't wreck our chances to create something dynamic for our future out of this important landmark from our past. The Council's support in designating a building under the Ontario Heritage Act would buy us some time. Why not spend the $2 a year now that the diocese has offered the building for and make the investment later when a council with some foresight, leadership, and vision can help provide a cost-effective showplace for what Guelph has been and can be again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gordon. Any questions of Mr. Gordon? Thank you very much.